Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Witness and I'm your host, Quatrina Hossain. Pity the nation. That is our theme for today. Pity the nation where people die on a daily basis and we don't even find time to mourn, let alone try and find out how and why they died. Pity the nation where a student shoots the vice principal of his college and it doesn't even make the national headlines. Pity the nation where 13 people are killed in an Eid congregation outside Quetta and no talk show picks that up as a separate topic. Pity the nation where our political leaders are so busy hurling invectives at each other that nobody counts how many people are still dying. Pity the nation where we say it is a good day, only 5 people died today. Pity the nation where an epidemic of dengue fever is sweeping through the country, yet it makes the headlines after the sports news. Pity the nation where an entire province is flooded, people are homeless, destitute and starving, and nobody seems to care. Pity the nation where we, the media, are as culpable as are our politicians and our other respected people, intelligentsia, civil society, whomever you want. Pity the nation where we are so busy pointing fingers at each other that we forget to look at what we ourselves are doing to our own nation. Pity the nation where the nation's people feel no one cares. My first guest in the studio today is going to be Dr. Farrukh Saleem. He's a political analyst and we will try to talk about whether there is hope and where that hope is and how we can reach that elusive, shimmering hope that still exists, which still compels people like me to come onto the airwaves every day, invade your living rooms, your homes, and not just to put you in despair, but to try and find, if not some hope, at least some solace. Joining me on the telephone, Nawab Yousuf Talpur, an MNA from the ruling Pakistan People's Party, whose own constituency is part of what I referred to, which is in Sindh, where the people are desperate. Just look at our headlines today. I mean, we have not even had time as journalists to be able to tell you what is the most important story for today. Yesterday, the M2M finally gives their riposte to Dr Mirza. They come out have a press conference. Yet there's a bomb blast in Quetta today in which 26 people have been died, 80 people have been injured. The DIG of the FC has been critically injured. His wife is dead. Pity their children. Pity the 13 people who died on Eid while returning from Eid prayers in Quetta. And we barely think about it. And in the midst of all this, in any other country, any one of these would have been headline news that would have continued through the week, the month, the year. 3 Al-Qaeda operatives are arrested from Quetta. Yet nobody in our media has had time to try and even link up the dots. If the media is failing, are our politicians failing as well? Are our analysts failing as well? What's going on? Dr. Saleem, I'm heartbroken today. You know, I'm truly heartbroken today that our political parties are busy hurling invectives at each other and people are dying, getting 2 inches of space in newspapers in newsprint and 30 seconds on airwaves. Is that the value that we place on life in this country?
Quatrina, Pakistan is in a state of severe internal conflict. And I think our real failure is that we as a society or we as a state are failing to identify the primary drivers behind that conflict. Neither the state nor the society yet knows what the primary drivers behind that conflict are, or what are the secondary drivers behind that conflict. Take Karachi, for instance. I don't know whether the government has actually commissioned a formal conflict analysis study to point out to them as to what the primary drivers really are behind the Karachi conflict. Now,
no, they prefer to leave that to the Supreme Court.
As I see, a primary driver behind the Karachi conflict, for instance, is the weakening of the state, the weakening of the state machinery as such. The police, whether you want to blame it onto the politicians or the political process, is highly politicized. There's some 8 dozen police thanas, and each and every one of them has a political appointee. Another secondary or primary driver behind Karachi conflict, again, is political exclusion of a very large chunk of the Karachi population. You're looking at maybe 15 to 20% of residents, namely the Pakhtun population, which is not represented either in the legislative machinery or the administrative infrastructure. And then we have elite power struggles. I mean, you have politically backed mafias of all sorts that are trying to capture their share of resource rents in Karachi. Someone has to come out and put all of this into a formal study. Unless we identify what the primary drivers are, unless we identify what the secondary drivers are, we've got no way going forward.
No way of going forward. And that's sometimes I wonder is we're not being able to do this because sometimes I feel we don't have time to take a breath. We don't catch our breath before another crisis hits us. Let's get Mr. Talpur into the conversation over here. Mr. Talpur, I rarely sound as troubled as I do today because, in all honesty, today's headlines have been, as I said, devastating. In any other country, each and every one of these stories would have been the main thing that the whole country was talking about, yet we are not focusing on anything because everything is coming at us together. Mr. Talpur, how do we get out of this mess? Mr. Talpur, can you hear me? I'm afraid we've lost our connection to Mr. Talpur. Well, one of the important things I want to talk about today is, apart from my very emotional appeal to this country's leaders, to our thinkers, to our writers, to everyone watching this program, it's time to stop blaming each other. But that's not going to happen, is it, Dr. Saleem? I mean, we don't even study, we don't analyze, we don't think. What is it with our capacity to try and find scapegoats all the time? And not take responsibility?
What in essence is happening is that we have severe capacity gaps and severe security gaps. Now, within security gaps, when a state fails to safeguard the life of its own citizens, it creates a vacuum. The state is not being able to safeguard the life of its citizens. The vacuum has to be filled. That's the second law of thermodynamics. Some force would come in and fill that vacuum. And then you have these non-state actors filling that vacuum. Then we have capacity gaps, whereby the state is unable to provide you municipal services, water, electricity. So we have a state that has a severe capacity gap and a severe security gap situation. Well, we've got to resolve the security gap. We've got to eliminate these vacuums that non-state actors then use and fill the vacuums up.
I'm joined by Mr. Yousuf Talpur again. Mr. Talpur, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Mr. Talpur, I don't know if you heard my rather passionate appeal at the beginning of this program to try and bring some sanity into what's happening in our country. We are in a state of crisis of all kinds of levels. I think we have a crisis of morality, we have a crisis of thinking, we have a crisis of solutions. We are, as I said, trying to find scapegoats, pointing the finger at each other. And when I say we, I mean the entire country, the political leaders, the media, the intelligentsia, everyone. How do we get out of this mess, Mr. Talpur? You are a senior political leader. Sindh is the crisis point. At one level, disaster with the floods, and on the other level, political disaster. How do we begin to get out of this?
Well, as far as Pakistan is concerned, we've always been in this political disasters. There's nothing new which we are seeing. Only
never as bad as today, Mr. Talpur.
Day to day, it's getting worse. But the floods you mentioned about that, I would just say, right now, I know one thing. Sindh is drowned. I know this, that millions and millions of people of Sindh with their families, without any shelter, are on the roads, and their houses are flooded with water. They are not getting the tents, they are not getting the relief, and the process of relief is very weak. So I would like to concentrate right now on this issue, Because if we are talking politically, we are talking for the people. If we are talking for the rights, if we are talking for anything, it's for the people. But the loss of floods this year, mark my words, is at least 3 times more than what it was last year. And this year it has been, that belt, the whole Sindh is hit, but that belt has been hit, which has cash crops. The total cotton is gone.
The cotton belt.
The total sugar cane is gone. The chilies, the onions, all the crops, you know, which come up and they were ready for picking are destroyed. And the rains have been beyond one's imagination. Partially some portions were still okay, but from last 36 hours the rain which we have get, particularly in my district, Umarkot, it says 105 millimeters. So with 105 millimeters and with the previous rains, and everybody is migrating now to desert. And we are trying to help them, though we have very little and limited resources.
When you say we, sir, who do you mean by we are trying to help them?
By we, I mean People's Party.
People's Party.
Of course, by we mean People's Party.
What kind of support are you getting from the private citizens in Pakistan, the civil society, which always steps up? Are they missing this time?
Unfortunately, in my district, I have yet to see any NGO or any civil society, anybody coming forward.
Why do you think that's so?
I think partially, of course, you know, it's very difficult even to get to those areas now, to get to those places. I've personally contacted some of my friends for some help, that they should send to some trucks and this and that, and they should come themselves and distribute. They all have said yes to me, but they all say that we'll wait for 2 days. When the rains subside, then we'll come. But the rains are those people who are destroyed. They need food, they need shelter. If not shelter, we need tents. I remember, for your kind information, previous rains, about 10 to 12 days back, I had taken the Prime Minister and given him a view of that entire area, Umarkot district, Badin district, Mirpur Khas district, and so on and so forth, Lower Sindh entire. And he, after seeing it, he had ordered for 10,000 tents for Umarkot district. And whereas I only received 2,900. And this is previous. Now, you know, all the total kacha houses, the houses made out of mud, they're destroyed. There's not even a single house which remains.
Okay. And Mr. Talpur, I know you have been busy with trying to cope with the magnitude of the floods, which sadly have received little or virtually no attention, apart from, as I said, barely a minute or two of airwave time. And that is another tragedy that we have to focus on. But while you say Sindh has drowned, Sindh is also on fire because of the continuing crisis being hurled around by the political leadership, including your erstwhile colleague, Dr Mirza. What do we have to do to make sure that the province of Sindh and the city of Karachi in particular do not burn with ethnic fires?
We have to restore law and order. You know, when you don't have electricity, when you don't have gas, you do the price hike and all these things, and then definitely the frustrations are there and the people are there, and the law and order situation is there. And definitely Dr Mirza, he was a home minister. He also came on the media and on oath he said certain things, and definitely when he has said something on oath, nobody can say that he being a Muslim, he would be saying wrong things. I am a Muslim. He is also a Muslim. When he says something on oath, keep the Quran on the head. That means. And I'm trying to meet him. Unfortunately, I could not meet him. Once I meet him, then I'll be in a position to come out and be in a position.
Mr. Talpur, I at this point neither want to nor get into the debate of who is lying and who is not, because that's a debate that has already been triggered by the political leaders themselves. I'm asking you a very specific question. To me, and I hope I'm wrong, Sindh could potentially burst into flames with ethnic warfare. How do we stop that?
Yes, you are absolutely correct. This is what even we foresee. If it is not stopped, and I even heard today, the Supreme Court is sitting in Karachi. They are trying day-to-day basis in Karachi I even read the statement of DG Rangers yesterday, and I heard his statement today.
Right.
And probably tomorrow, ISI chief is also going to the Supreme Court, and probably for the first time they have come forward and they're going to say something in the court. So it is for the government and it is for the law enforcing agencies to restore this law and order and to make sure that there's no bloodshed.
Make sure there's no bloodshed. Stay with me, Mr. Talpur, because I have with me in the studio Dr. Farrukh Saleem. Dr. Saleem, ethnic war, and I use the word war because it is literally, that's what it will become if it happens again. It has happened in 1986. And I'm not talking about what is in my memory. 1986, it happened again in 1992 to 1996, and potentially could happen again. Is the country and this government capable of warding it off?
Quatrina, I think there's so much negativity all around us. Let me at least bring out some positive aspects of.
Oh, please, if you can, if you have something, I'm desperate for it.
Two indicators on terrorism: suicide attacks. They peaked out in 2009, and since then they've been on their way down. There was a reduction in 2010, and a further reduction in 2011. Second indicator is annual loss of life as a consequence of terrorist activities. And that also peaked out in 2009 when 11,000 Pakistanis or 11,700 Pakistanis lost their lives, and it's been on its way
decline,
on
despite
its way down.
what happened today in Quetta.
Now, having said that, I think there are powerful forces out there that are still trying to delegitimize the state of Pakistan itself. They're trying to create chaos.
Who are these people?
These are the people whose interest it is to have chaos and anarchy in Pakistan that would give them space to operate.
Al-Qaeda, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, or are you referring to...
All of them put together.
All of them put together.
All of them have, they all have overlapping interests. And as we see, there's kidnappings, there's suicide attacks and loss of life. It may appear this is all madness, but there is a specific method in that madness.
What is that specific method?
There is a strategy intact. All of these forces are orchestrating all of this to create chaos so that
but
the
are
state...
we not adding to it? I mean, surely these Al-Qaeda and all these other organizations are not the ones that are provoking our politicians to get hysterical on the airwaves morning, day and night.
The very first factor that invites all these forces is weakening of the state apparatus itself.
Okay, let me ask you a specific question before I return to Mr. Talpur. A senior Al-Qaeda leader was arrested from Quetta on September 5th. That was Yunus al-Mauritani, and two other Al-Qaeda operatives, Abdul Ghaffar al-Shami and Masara al-Shami, were also arrested at the same time. That was September 5th. And today we have this massive attack on the FC. The DIG FC's wife, as I said, has been killed. 26 people have died, 80 have been injured. It is considered to be the largest bombing in Quetta in recent years. And I heard an official in Quetta saying ball bearings were used for the first time in this bombing, which caused much more injuries and deaths. Do you link it? Do you link this attack to the Al-Qaeda arrest?
I don't, and the reason is that I can't say there is a cause and effect relationship there, because most of these operations take a long time to plan. There is a month, 2 months worth of pre-operational surveillance of sites and operating techniques. This would have been planned a couple of months ago.
The attack on the FC,
the attack on the FC,
home.
or the twin attack on the DIG FC's residence.
As well as the Commissioner House, and there were two attacks. You're right. One was a diversion, and then the second one was
these are very well coordinated and very well planned out attacks, and they need a lot more planning before they actually can be executed. What we have here is intent and capacity. I think there is definitely an intent on part of these forces that we referred to earlier to bring down the state of Pakistan. I also feel at times that their capacity is actually on a decline.
Which is good to hear.
They may
I'm not sure I agree with you, because I remain concerned about their capacity to launch attacks of this nature, because obviously the desire on their part hasn't gone away, that we know. But today's attack tells us that the capacity may be diminished, but hasn't gone away either.
You're right. Capacity has diminished, but it still is there.
It's still there.
And the strategy to delegitimize the state of Pakistan is still intact. They
Right.
still want to create chaos. They still want to create anarchy in this country so that it gives them space and physical terrain to operate in a terrorist entity out of.
Exactly, so critical. Mr. Talpur, you heard what Dr. Saleem had to say. It's terrifying. What are our political parties doing? This kind of analysis that I'm hearing from Dr. Saleem, reasoned, rational logic, and when it comes to the leadership of this country, and I don't just mean your party or you in particular, but our entire political parties, leaders, everybody, nobody seems to be thinking or discussing the existential threat.
No, we have been thinking, and we have been talking, but we are not acting. The basic thing is, when this situation has arisen in Balochistan, we have to just take one thing. What is the root cause of that? Why is Balochistan has gone to that standard? Why it is difficult for people of Balochistan to even put the flag of Pakistan? Why everybody has become that much? Now there has to be reasons. And the reasons don't start after the Akbar Bukti's murder and his shahadat. They start much earlier. Right from the creation of Pakistan, the Baloch have been tortured, the Baloch have been given stepmotherly treatment.
Betrayed over and over again.
Yes, over and over again. So naturally then when there's a frustration, then of course if you fill the glass with water, the water will then overflow. Still I would say the time is not lost. The political parties with sincerity and with commitment should come forward and talk to them. And Baloch leaders would definitely come forward, because now it's a big thing that we have a credible, that flaw. Because each time the Baloch leaders we have spoken to, we have not stood by our commitment.
Exactly.
Even the last one.
I agree.
Now, they should have those people to have a dialogue who have some commitment and on whom even the Baloch leaders can trust. And I think things can settle down.
But Nawab Talpur, the critical point, of course, is that the threat to facing the country today is not just in Balochistan. I agree that that is a hugely neglected part of Pakistan that we are not focusing on either. But the problems that this country faces, as I said, the existential threat this country faces comes from lots of different places. There's people like Al-Qaeda want a political chaos in this country, and we are providing it.
Yes, because we are following somebody else's agenda, so naturally they are getting space to work. Otherwise, it's not right from beginning. Had we not listened to their dictation,
I'd like to differ.
Hang on for a second. You're saying that it's America's fault. I don't agree. Complete what you want to say, Mr. Talpur. You want to blame it on America, or is it us?
No. I want to go to 9/11. That after that, we jumped into the war. Why should we?
We did.
We should not have jumped into the war. We should have taken care of our country first and then try to help. Because nobody is for terrorism. Nobody wants terrorism.
Obviously
and
not.
we want peace. We want peace here in our country.
Okay. Stay with me, Mr. Talpur.
We want eliminate terrorism. Now let me tell you one thing. I have a commitment because I was told that just for 5-10 minutes.
Right.
If you want to put me any question, you are most welcome.
Okay.
I'm here. Otherwise,
okay. Well, I'll just then say thank you, Mr. Talpur, for having joined us today. I know I've taken a lot more time than you had anticipated. I appreciate your having joined me here on Witness. That was, of course, Nawab Yousuf Talpur, MNA from the Pakistan People's Party. He represents the constituency of Umarkot in Sindh. Dr. Saleem, before I go to a break, you wanted to comment on this. Again, this is my problem, you see. I don't know if we can just pinpoint it and say, oh, it was our policy post 9/11 or whatever. What were you going to say?
I think primary drivers behind what's happening in Pakistan is our own fault. We continue to blame it onto India or Israel or the United States. I think right now...
Or Musharraf, our policy post 9/11.
I feel that right now no world power has any real interest into breaking Pakistan up or creating anarchy and chaos in this country.
Pakistan is a basket case. It will only become worse if they try to break it up. My question to you really is when will our political leadership become mature enough to step up and take responsibility and try and fix things?
I think actually the scary part is that we are staring right into a potential civil war. All that a civil war really needs is organized gangs and organized mafias and ammunition.
We have
and Karachi has them both.
All three, yeah. I mean, you said gangs, mafias, because I separate the two, because mafias I also look at as being non-political. The gangs are also political, so I'll separate those two. And then huge amounts of ammunition and weaponry.
So all three factors are there. And I think either politicians all get together, lock themselves up in a chamber, and don't come out of that chamber unless they have a resolution to it. That's the first choice. I think there has to be a political resolution to this issue, because if this is a political issue, and if that doesn't happen, if politicians don't do that, then they might as well invite the army under constitutional provisions. And even if they don't want to accept that there is a failure on their part, then I suspect that there would be a gate crash, that the army might gate crash and invite themselves on their own.
Do you see that as being as a real threat, or because it's happened before? It's not like it hasn't happened before, but do you think it now assuming a more likely scenario than we have been seeing?
My issue is that all of what we see all around us has political origins. The army would step in, or could step in, and bring down the symptoms of the disease, which is political in nature. They'll never be able to cure the disease.
Absolutely.
The disease has to be cured by the politicians themselves. But if they don't, then, as I said, army might gate crash and might step in without ever being invited under constitutional provisions.
Yeah, because it's not just Karachi. It's a nationwide disease, and in fact, well, it is time for me to take a break, but I'd like to thank you, Dr. Farrukh Saleem, for having taken part in this segment of our program. We appreciate your joining us. We're going to take a short break now. When we return, we will also talk to Mustafa Kamal of the MQM to try and get a sense of what the MQM is perceiving now in the city of Karachi. As Dr. Farrukh Saleem pointed out right now, that the Pakhtun community, which is a huge population in Karachi. Karachi is described as one of the largest Pakhtun cities of the world in that respect, because there are more Pathans in Karachi than there are in any other city of the world. But what does this all mean? Can we not celebrate diversity? Must we kill for ethnicity? Where does the hatred stop? Who is fanning the hatred? Who is going to be responsible for making sure that this stops now? The madness has to end. Please stay with us. When we return, we'll be joined by Mr. Mustafa Kamal from Karachi. Welcome back to Witness. Joining me now on the telephone is Mr. Mustafa Kamal, the former city mayor of Karachi and representing, of course, the Muttahida Qawmi movement. For those of you who saw his press conference yesterday, which was in Urdu, we will ask Mr. Kamal to briefly reiterate some of the main points. Of course, you will have read that in the newspapers. But we do want to bring you Mr. Kamal's words as well for those of you who do not speak Urdu and did not understand what he said. So, Mr. Kamal, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Mr. Kamal, I'll just ask you to briefly recap. You have rejected all the allegations that Dr Mirza made against you and your party leadership. But there were some elements of your press conference that left many of us who were watching mildly disturbed. For the first time, for example, the word Mahadji was used a lot by yourself in yesterday's, I would say, rather carefully considered press conference. Should we be making anything of that?
Well, the reason, because the people who have been killed in last 2-3 months, and the last incident which took place in just 17 and 18th of October, in August, where people were picked from the buses, from the bus stops, from the markets, not by their identification as an MQM worker, but their identification as Urdu-speaking people, Muhajirs. And those innocent people, they were not even the member of or worker of MQM. They were just Urdu-speaking people, and
right.
they were pegged there. They were kept kidnapped and was kept there, and they have gone through with a brutal kind of torture, and then they were killed. They were not only killed, but the bodies were made in pieces, and
right.
They have even made such videos for those who were killing and who were being killed. And those bags of those bodies were thrown to all over the city. And not only that, 55 people on the same, under the same, gang, they have been kept kidnapped for last, 2 to 3 days. And then after that, when people got involved and agencies and law enforcement agencies got involved, then they were set free. Even till today, 10 of those people are still missing. 10 of those people, out of those who have been kidnapped, are still missing.
Right.
The only sin which those innocent people had committed, that they were Urdu-speaking people, they were Muhajirs.
Now,
that made the reason for their kidnapping and killing. That's why I mentioned, and we mentioned as a party yesterday in my press conference, that these Urdu-speaking people who are Muhajirs are being victim just because of their identity and because of their
ethnicity. Now, of course, Mr. Kamal, one of the biggest fears that many of us have, not entirely predicated on your use of the word Mahajir, but also because of the language that we have heard being used by Zulfikar Mirza. One of the biggest fears right now is that Karachi could descend into ethnic violence, the likes of which we have never seen before. Karachi's history, 1986, is still in our living memory. 1992 to 1996 is still in our memory. Are you concerned at all that this war of words could trigger ethnic violence in Karachi?
That war of ethnic war has already unleashed onto us, and people, by their identification, by Urdu-speaking people, Muhajirs are being killed in the city. We have created this aura of Muttahida Qawmi movement, have gone to different part of Pakistan, and even our hierarchy, they are people from Balochistan, from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, interior Sindh, and Punjab. But what to do? I mean, we are not claiming and asking for this war. The people of Karachi, the innocent Urdu-speaking people, Muhajirs, are being killed. Now,
Mr. Kamal, let's be fair here.
When you talk about this fear, let me just remind you that the fear should not. I mean, nobody should fear that M2M will initiate or M2M will create this environment, because since 2002 to 2008, when M2M had the power, when we were in government and our home minister was there at that time, our mayor was there, our governor was having much more greater power than today. We have not heard even a single incident, even for those 6 days, except
that's just the point, isn't it, Mr. Kamal? The M2M itself not as a political party now. Let's get away from that. Let me ask you a blunt question. The M2M has taken up arms before through the 90s. The boys, as we call them, the boys in the M2M who are sector in charges, unit in charges, they may just go out and seek revenge. What are you going to do to stop that?
Well, don't kill that innocent people who are not even the worker of M2M. Definitely those innocent people who have been killed, they have been tortured, they have been kidnapped, and their movies have been made. They have their relatives in the city.
Okay, Mr. Kamal, let me ask you a very pertinent and a fair question here. It's not just Muhajirs who have been killed in Karachi in the past 8 months. People of every ethnic background have been killed, including Pathans, including other people. Surely you can't say that the Sindh PPP Aman committee was going around killing the Pathans. I mean, let's face it, already ethnic war is underway.
Who is killing whom?
Please tell me. I don't know.
No, I'm not the police. I'm not holding the police officials. I'm not giving the orders to the IGs or DIGs. I do not have even a single right to influence even a single asset or even a single constable in the city. I'm not running the home ministry in this province. I'm just we had been the coalition partner. This is what we have been asking. No matter whoever is being killed in this, innocent people is being killed in the city, it's our losses. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
Listen to me, please, for 1 minute.
Yeah.
2002 to 2008, We had the Home Minister who used to control the police. We had the Governor had more power. We had more powerful minister. Federal government used to listen to us. Provincial government had more influence, was more influenced by us. At that time, we did not kill even a single people when we had the authority, when we had the police coming under us. This is all these menace we have heard and seen in the past 3 years.
Okay, Mr. Kamal,
when we do not have even a single influence on any SHO or any police station in the city.
Right.
So no matter whoever is being killed, it's our loss. We own each and every single soul, innocent soul who lives here in Karachi.
Okay, Mr. Kamal,
being killed.
In that respect, then my next question is just so fitting and just so right. How do we stop the killing? How do we heal the city? Because the city is injured and bleeding. How do we start the healing process?
Quatrina, we have to call a spade, okay? Because haven't we seen the adventurism of former Home Minister?
I have indeed.
Who was the head of the policing, and he himself confessed that he has given 300,000 armed license to the people, and now coming into the rally and encouraging people that not to keep it for the wedding ceremony, use those arms which he has given. He said he had given to them, and start killing innocent people. Now the second thing, he has already confessed that he has appointed 10,000 policemen in the Sindh policing. All the criminal gangsters that he has from different part of Karachi has been whom he called. He is the father of all those gangsters. It's on record. He said, if these people are criminal, I'm the father of the criminals.
Okay, Mr. Kamal, one of the points that I want to really reinforce over here is that Dr. Dr Mirza has not been on this program this entire past 10 days. One of the reasons for that was because the Muttahida Qawmi movement had chosen not to appear on the media. Therefore, I had taken the decision that I would not ask Dr Mirza to be on this program while the MQM was not here. Now, at the same point, then I would ask you to refrain from talking about Dr. Mirza. Neither do I want to bring the two of you together, because that would just create another war of words. What I will ask Mr. Kamal,
that means you don't want to listen the truth. I mean, it is whatever I'm narrating it right now. These all have been confessed in front of your media and all the media.
Absolutely.
By that man himself. So
Agreed.
I mean, he had been given 10 days leverage.
Not on this program, he wasn't.
Okay.
Not on my program, he wasn't. So that's why.
What should I do? I mean,
What I would like you to do is, I am asking you to help me with solutions here. One of the main questions I have is, today the MQM has decided to go to the Supreme Court. What are your expectations from the Supreme Court? What do you hope to achieve?
Quatrina, Supreme Court will not do the policing in the areas and on the streets of Karachi, right? I mean, we all understand this, right? Supreme Court can give the direction, can give the guidance, but Supreme Court will not be the implementing body. Right now, the problem is we should accept the mandate of the democratic parties, and the mandate, 85% of the city's mandate is with MQM. Out of 20 seats in National Assembly, we have won 17 National Assembly seats here in the city. Out of 42 provincial assembly seats, we have won 34 provincial assembly seats here. We have won seats from Hyderabad. Now, what I'm saying right now here, we call this this government is a democratic government. We are also expecting that please give us this democratic right, whatever democratic mandate people of Karachi had given us, give us the governance at least to that percentage. And today, let me just tell you, out of 100 police stations here in Karachi, not even single police station or single constable have been appointed or have been transferred or have been given the job with our consultation, with MQM consultation. Today, in cities and stations, we legally are not empowered and allowed to even ask for even a small cleanliness job cannot be done by our instruction. We have got no influence in local and provincial administration and authority. So
do you trust the Karachi police right now?
Sorry?
Does your party trust the Karachi police right now?
No, I mean, because the situation and the life which is in danger of the people of Karachi, the way the life has been taken and the way the performance has been, who would trust the police of Karachi?
Okay. I asked that very particularly because I remember, as I'm sure I do our viewers, what happened from 1994 to 1996. Right now, the Rangers have been given extended powers. It seems that the Muttahida Qawmi movement does seem to have some faith in the Rangers. Will you advocate the Rangers to continue to have the extended powers that they have right now?
Well, action will be the biggest judge. Action will speak louder than words. Whoever will take action across the board, if some criminals are sitting with me under my fold, under my umbrella, please come and catch him and bring him before the justice. If somebody else is holding a criminal gang, if somebody else is preaching the hatred, if somebody else is killing people, making those bodies in pieces, and claiming to be the pioneer and to be the head of all those gangsters, please go and catch them. If that will happen, if those action will be taken by the Rangers, we will definitely support the Rangers.
Okay. Now, one question, obviously, in your press conference, you talked yesterday about not just Zulfikar Mirza's allegations, but also Lashkari Raisani's statements that came through as well. Now, we also look at it from another perspective, which is simply showing that there's a split within the ranks of the Pakistan People's Party leadership. The MQM, of course, is part of that. Your party receives as much attack as does Rahman Malik. The point here is that Zulfikar Mirza is one person with some kind of, to me, inexplicable agenda. Is that one man, do you think, capable at this point of setting Karachi on fire?
Well, I won't go on speculation as somebody's hidden agenda and somebody's underlying feelings. What I would say, what I'm seeing, what the people of Karachi are witnessing, and whatever is being portrayed on media and confessed in front of media, I think those stories, those incidents tell the whole story. That who is giving and encouraging the riots and hatred and killing business in the city. I did not stand up and say things about any other ethnicity or any other community.
No, you are remarkably controlled in your press conference.
We own, and we can't technically, Quatrina, we can't technically say that, because we own each and everybody, all ethnicity, all community, all religions are under the fold of MQM today. MQM Muttahida Qawmi movement is the party which is the national party today, and we are expanding from Karachi to Gilgit-Baltistan, Punjab, Balochistan, and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So we are not having any hidden agenda against any single soul who lives here in Karachi or anywhere else in Pakistan.
Okay, Mr. Kamal, now one thing I have to point out to you, that I've lived in Karachi all my life. I've covered most of the violence that happened in the 90s. So I know the city very, very extensively. So I ask now this very specific question. There is what happened in Karachi in the 90s was just pretty much put aside. We stopped talking about it. I don't want to get into accusations and blame game, but there are certain incidents, many incidents, where definitely the MQM was involved in violence and breaking the law. At this point, is your party prepared to have some kind of bearing of the soul searching, and then apologizing, at least trying to fix the past? How can we go forward peacefully when the wounds inflicted in the 90s continue to fester today?
Well, wound have been carved out on us. We would have been given to us in 1990s. What are you talking about?
It was both ways, sir.
15,000 of MQM's youth were killed during extrajudicial killing. I mean, and court and that time President of Pakistan, Laghari, when he dismissed the government at that time.
In 96.
In 1997, 96, 97, the only allegation he had on his own government, on his own democratic government, that government is involved in extrajudicial killing.
Yes, they were.
Sorry?
Yes, they were. I'm a witness to those extrajudicial killings.
So please do not ask me to touch my soul and
Sir, they were from both sides.
No,
we have to be clear. It was from both sides.
No, Quatrina, listen, please give me the chance. Listen, I mean, we have been given the blame that we want to disintegrate at that time this country, and
we're not.
Jinapur.
That was all proved to be a lie.
Sorry?
That was all proved to be a lie.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Then how? But on that lie, you have killed my 15,000 people, including Altaf Hussain, my leader's brother. And his nephew. This is what I'm saying. I'm not making any. I did not make any mistake there at that time, because we were not the army. We were the human, common citizen of this country. You and your agencies and your establishment and at that time rulers, they have unleashed that war on us, and they are dreaming. Somebody is dreaming to unleash that same war again on us. So let me complete.
Okay.
That I want to say, this is not 1992. This is 2011. This MQM is 2011's MQM. We will not take all these crap again and again on us. That you make an adventurism on us. If somebody is thinking to just dismantle MQM by unleashing these war on us, on Urdu speaking, this will not be fulfilled.
Do you believe that there are efforts underway to break up the party?
Not break up the party. I did not mention the break up the party, but
okay.
I mentioned that there's a conspiracy against MQM, and especially against we have been dramatized and through a conspiracy. They are criminalizing these Urdu-speaking people here in the city, and that's why they are picking those people, innocent people, and they are killing us. And nobody can ask the question from the former Home Minister that who has given him the power and authority to give 300,000 license on his own wishes, who has allowed him to kill those people and make the videos of those people and distribute it to all over the Karachi. Nobody could ask this.
Mr. Kamal, let me because in all honesty, I'm Dr. Mirza. Put Dr. Mirza on one side, put the rest of the People's Party on the other side. The People's Party is desperately, seems to be, I could be wrong, but they seem to be trying to make peace with the MQM. What do you think your party's strategy is going to be now?
We are talking to Pakistan People's Party.
Okay.
We are not questioning the intention of President Asif Ali Zardari, and co-chairman of Pakistan People's Party. We still believe that his intentions are clean and clear, and he does want to go along with MQM and with other political parties here in Pakistan. And we are not negotiating any ministries and any perks and privileges. For us all, we are negotiating right now and talking to Pakistan People's Party that people's problems should be resolved and their agenda, people's agenda, should be the prime agenda. And we want to secure and give the sense of security to each and every soul here in Karachi. We want to give security each and every soul in Pakistan. We want to get this business go on in the city. We want to get rid of this extortion and kidnapping for ransom. We want to get rid of this electricity problem. These are the so on and so forth. These are the issues which we are negotiating right now with Pakistan People's Party. If we have been given the chances and authorities and administrative control to get involved in and to resolve these issues, we will definitely try to accept and run and serve the people of Karachi. We will be just asked to come and join the government without any authority. It will be a questionable issue, and I think it will take.
How's your party going to try and heal the problems between the MQM and the ANP?
Well, we are talking, Quatrina, to everybody, all the local NP leader and central ANP leader. We are every day, we are in constant touch with us. There is no issue between, from our end against any political party or any ethnicity. We have worked with them before. We are working and we are willing to work with them in future. Nobody could throw anybody from Karachi, from outside Karachi. We have to understand that on the guns point, on the guns power, nobody could control and change the mandate, or democratic mandate of MQM.
Sir, quickly, last question, because I'm running out of time, that's why I'm interrupting you. Will your party support a de-weaponization campaign in the city?
Well, my party is the only party which has submitted the bill in National Assembly for weaponization of Pakistan, but the bullet, not even a single bullet, is being produced here in Karachi. It all comes from hundreds of miles away from different part of Pakistan.
All right, thank you. I'm afraid, sir, we've run out of time. The show is over. So I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for having joined us today and given us your party's perspective.